Welcome to another episode of Walk and Talk with Bondi Guru. I hope everyone's doing really well. Okay, so I feel like I need to talk about the one thing that is perhaps most valuable and important to me, which is intuition. Because I guess everything I do is based on intuition. So it would be, I thought, useful to have a conversation about intuition and maybe give some ideas or tips around using intuition. I know so many people will get so much out of this. So just to start with, what I do, the Intuitive Horoscopes, they're called Intuitive Horoscopes because they're based purely on intuition. That's it. And that means that everything, including I don't spend much time on one-on-ones at the moment anyway, due to lack of time, but the group work, all the work that I've done over the past 20 or so years as I've been an intuitive facilitator, has all been revolved around intuition and intuition only. Just wait for the bus to go by, it gets a bit noisy. So my job with the Intuitive Horoscopes is essentially to align with the energy of each star sign, and that's where I get your information from. So when I sit down to do the Intuitive Horoscopes, there's no ritual of any kind that I have. It's just, these days it's a little bit different because all I do is press record and there's intuition. Like I call it, obviously freestyling. So there's no preparation for me. However, that being said, I've also been doing it for a very long time. So it's very easy for me now. Those of you that are asking about how do you access your intuition, I'll give a few points here. Intuition for each individual will show up differently, and what I mean by this is I can't assume that how intuition guides me is exactly the same way that intuition will guide you, right? What I can say though is that my intuition comes to me in the form of a feeling, not emotions. It's got nothing to do with emotions, and also it's just there, it's in the present moment. So whenever I bring my attention to the here and now, which is what I do with the horoscopes, for example, then there's a pace that the present moment moves it at. What I essentially do is access that pace. It's a lot slower than the typical pace of the mind and the typical pace of thinking. Thinking has a completely different pace. And so what I do is bring my attention to feeling sensations in the inner energy field of the body. Everyone has sensations. Everyone has a body. And dog with a ball in his mouth and he's trying to bark at the same time. Bless his cotton woolies. So I bring my attention to feeling sensations in the inner energy field of the body. And anyway, in the body, when I do that, I access the pace. The pace of the present moment is very important for intuition, because when you access the pace of the present moment, you then align naturally with the feeling that is intuition. You align naturally with a space that feels far more expansive than any thought in your own mind. Now, I don't consciously do any of this anymore because, like I said, I've been doing it for so many years, so there's no process around it for me. But I'm just sharing this particular process for you guys to see how you go with it. So when you feel sensations in the inner energy field of your body, like I can feel it right now as I'm walking. Again, it's something that, because I've been doing it for so long now, It's natural to me. So as I'm walking, I'm feeling sensations in the energy field of my feet. I'm listening to all the sounds around me. I'm here, I'm in this present moment. I'm not thinking about where I'm going to go. I'm not thinking about what I'm going to talk about. None of those things. I'm very aware. That's me moving at the pace of the present moment. My body could be moving really fast, but within, I'm still at the pace of the present moment. And that is key. That is absolute key when it comes to intuition. The pace of the present moment. So when you feel the sensations in the energy field of the body and you start to practice that, you'll feel something slowing down. And that slowing down is you accessing the pace of the present moment. So it's not that everything begins to slow down, it's you actually connect to the natural pace, which is a lot slower than the thinking mind, incredibly slower. Then what you do is stay with those sensations. In order for you to stay connected to the pace of the present moment, you have to stay with the sensations. Sensations, your thoughts will come in. What is this? This is boring, blah, blah, blah. Notice it, and you come back to sensations. You don't need to do anything about the thoughts, and you don't need to do anything with them. There's nothing to do. Just keep bringing your attention, ever so gently, guided back to feeling sensations. That's all you're doing. And you want to get really good at that. Another distraction is another thought. The thoughts are they can be very distracting and very entertaining. So when I work with people, I always say, you have one job. And your one job is to keep redirecting your attention back to feeling sensations in the inner energy field of your body. The reason you want to be in the inner energy field of the body is because that's a doorway into the here and now. I want to share this piece about intuition that I feel like gets missed a lot, or maybe people don't really talk about it. And that is that once you're here, you've got your attention on feeling sensations in the inner energy field of your body. You feel the slowing down. You then have access to your intuition, right? You can feel it, you can hear it. It has pictures. Again, for each individual, it's going to be different. This is the biggest missing puzzle piece, I feel, for a lot of people, and why people don't follow their intuition. So you can hear it. Let's just say you've accessed in an intuitive hit. You'll have a feeling to do something. That is the point. When you get the feeling, the nudge, whatever you want to call it, that is the time, that's the point where the present moment matters the most. Because in the intuitive hit that you've had, the first thing that tends to happen is you go into your head and go, oh, but how am I going to do that? You might have an intuitive feeling, I'm just making this up, to go buy a house. It might feel really strongly for you. Logic kicks in, but how? How am I going to do that? You know, the banks don't give loans, or this, whatever story may be. And there's lots of stories. And there's lots of reasons why you can't do whatever it is your intuition has guided you with. The key is to be present and remain present. Forget the how questions. They're not useful. How questions are never useful. So in the moment of the intuitive hit, that's where you got to do the work the most. The work being feeling sensations over and over again. Because the how will come to you in due time. So beautiful. Hello. It's a dog. The how is not relevant to the thoughts in your mind, although that's what the problem is. The logic side of you needs to know how. It needs to know all the steps. It needs to know what's going to happen. How am I going to get the resources to do such a thing? Blah, blah, blah. So the thoughts in your mind will present so many limitations that you won't bother doing it. It becomes impossible. Your intuition never presents limitations. It will show you whatever resources you need to have access to. It will guide you You have to stay present. That's the key, and it guides you bit by bit. It doesn't have to give you the whole picture. Because it's not afraid, it doesn't need the whole picture. It's not afraid, it doesn't rely on hope or wishful thinking, so it doesn't need the whole picture. It doesn't need to present it to you. That's your logical brain, mind, that needs to know exactly how it's going to happen. Because it has fear, limitation, doubt, worry, so on and so forth. So, I'm about to do my second heal of the day. Oh gosh, I'm going to feel this one. I've committed to doing 1 heal a day, hopefully 2 heals a day each day. And when I get to doing the heals, whew, I can't do the talking anymore. So what I'll do is come back and finish this conversation when I've arrived at the top of the hill and I've caught my breath again. Okay, the hill was conquered. Another hill conquered. Okay, so we were saying with intuition, I just want to remind you, it comes to you in many different ways, but not in the form of thinking. I think that's really important to distinguish. But before all of that, or aside from all of that, I think the first most important thing is taking the time to feel sensations in the inner energy field of your body. If you can practice this, sit somewhere quiet and bring your attention to feeling sensations in the inner energy field of your body. Anyway, start with your feet. Yeah, that could be easiest. And thoughts pop in. That's a thought. You notice it, you come back to sensations. So your job becomes just continuously redirecting your attention ever so gently to feeling sensations again in the inner energy field of the body, sorry. And then you start to notice, it feels like everything slows down. It almost feels like, you know, if your eyes are open, the trees are greener, the birds are louder. All of that is true. What's happened is you've just accessed the pace of the present moment, which is always slower than the pace of thinking. The pace of thinking is very, very fast. And so as you access that slower pace, just feel. All you're doing is feeling. Don't worry about anything else, just feel. So keep coming back to feeling sensations. Notice. There's a slowing down. Just notice the slowing down. The moment you notice there's a slowing down, you've accessed the pace of the present moment, which is the most important thing when it comes to hearing intuition. Accessing the pace of the present moment. It has its own pace. You have to be one with that pace in order to, be able to truly, I want to say, not just hear intuition, feel it, but also act on it. Because that's the part that a lot of people, I feel, and I say this, I feel based on experience over the years through facilitation, that's the missing piece, is the present moment piece, which is why people don't act on their intuition. So just practice feeling sensations in the inner energy field of your body. Stay with that, keep redirecting attention ever so gently, and as you do that more and more, what you're looking for is the pace of the present moment. That is what is key. Once you start to feel the pace of that present moment more and more, then you'll know. You'll start to gauge intuition naturally. So let me know how you go with that. Feel free to send in any questions that you have about the exercise or the process. I'll talk a lot more about intuition over time. That's obviously my thing. I love it. But I'm really curious to know how you guys go, whoever decides to do this exercise, how you go with it. In particular, what I'm most curious about is accessing the pace of the present moment. That's where the magic is. Once you connect with the pace, that's where the magic is, and that's where you get access to true decisions, true actions, true solutions, right? By true, they're all things that are connected to your intuition, which is always connected to your bigger picture. This is why I always say to people, I even said in the daily forecast, your intuition has your blueprint. Nobody else has your blueprint. It comes from your intuition. Your intuition has your roadmap, because your intuition is always connected to your bigger picture. Nobody else knows your bigger picture, only your intuition. So you need to tap into your intuition to access your roadmap, to access your blueprint. That way you don't have to buy the blueprint from anybody else, right? Your intuition always knows and is connected to your bigger picture. And the second thing is, you never question intuition. Don't question it. Once you know what, I feel like actually I could say this. When you access the pace of the present moment, you won't need to question intuition. If you're questioning if that's your intuition or not, that means you haven't accessed the pace of the present moment. So you know now how to do that. So keep going back and doing that. Feel that slowing down. Oh, sorry, I got bitten by an ant. Feel that slowing down. You've accessed it. When you access the pace of the present moment, you don't need to question, is this my intuition or not? That question doesn't exist anymore. That's it. That's for today's session. Thank you for walking with me. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to connecting with you all again soon.